Again, I did take some of the PGY off. I took off part of my position, small part of my position, at 820. Get in for about 675, 680 or so. So about $1.40 profit on those, which is pretty good. I mean, that's a decent profit, a little over 20%. So holding the rest, however. MNDY with a decent move today, 7% on MNDY. Again, this is the MNDY that I took right here. Again, I took the 190 calls for October 17th. Looking for it to run up toward this 217 level. Let's see if it does. We never know. Never can tell. That VSAT stock gapped up this morning, looked like a winner, and it's just absolutely fallen apart. Very, very frustrating. I've seen no news on it. Just fell completely apart. Bearish engulfing candle. A lot of selling going on. Not an awful lot of premium left in the options. 90 cents per dollar now. So very frustrating trade for me and everybody else in it, I'm sure. Although I saw some folks get out of it already and get out this morning. That was smart. I wished I had set the, obviously I wish I had set the sell order for break even. We would have got filled on the open. But I guess I got a little bit greedy on it when I saw that big move up here this morning. When you took that CDLX long on shares, you can convert it to covered calls at $3. Yeah, that CDX, I saw Citron to call out bullishly on it today. And it popped up beautifully right up to 235, right through the 200-day moving average. Did you take part of PG off because it extended? No, it's not really that extended, Ram Kumar. I just think in this market that when I get that big of a move overnight in a stock, that I'm not adverse to taking 20-25% profits on part of the position and hold the rest of it. But it's not too extended, no. Can I pull up coin chart? About 8 cents today, 8% today. Yeah, it's having a nice move today. Here it is right here. Showed it a couple of times today. Went right through the 50-day moving average this morning. It's went through this resistance level, and it's heading up toward this one right here, the 349.49. Very choppy. I mean, these are choppy stocks. You can see that they chop all over the place, but this is a pretty nice moving coin. I bit here up also this morning. MSTR also up nicely right to the 200-day moving average. Riot, another crypto, up there pretty nice. BMNR was up today as well. This is one I own shares in. It's made a nice move the last few days, moving up toward that $66 level. SMR moved up pretty hard here just a bit ago, right to the 50-day moving average, right to it, and then pulled back just a bit. Again, here's PGY, looking really nice, and I took MNDY. Took Monday right here on this break into this gap fill, very similar to UNH, which I haven't done anything with yet because I need to see a confirmation of this PBO, which means I need to see a green candle at the end of the day today and open green tomorrow. Hey, Heaven, good morning. YouTube folks on board. Market pretty bullish today. It's moved up beautifully on the open. Pretty choppy now. The last hour and a half or so, it's been very choppy. Momentum's decent. Momentum's decent. And my T2104 indicator is pretty bullish as well right now. It is flattening a little bit at the moment. SPY flattening as well. Again, I took MNDY calls today out to October. Nice trade in a gap. I just took some profits off the PGY trade from yesterday. I still got most of it, but I did sell some of the calls on PGY. I get in that PGY at about 675, 680 yesterday. I sold some of them this morning at 820. You're still in the Generac trade, Raymond? I'm still in it too. Depends on what your expiration date is on it. I got expiration dates on it next week and then the week after. I'm going to hold it, even though it's below the 8 and the 15 because of the 50-day moving average is moving. It's sloping up and it looks still bullish to me. So I'm going to give this one some time. I'm still in the Generac trade. I'm unfortunately still in the VSAT. We had VSAT this morning. It got up to the point where we would have broken even on it if I had a break-even order in it, and I didn't. It gapped way up, and I left the order where it was instead of pulling it back down to break even, and it immediately pulled back right on the open. I mean, if you look at the open on VSAT, I didn't have any time at all to change it. It's just the first five minute candle took away the profitability and the break-even trade, and so then I wanted to watch and see what it did, and it's been really crap in the bed right now. So we'll see what it does the rest of the afternoon. There's not enough premium in it for me right now to take it off, so I want to see if it bounces. PGY is still moving up. SPY sitting right on the 15, just above the VWAP. Very, very sluggish action right now. There's a report on MSN regarding the reason VSAT sold off. Okay, thanks very much, Freddie. SPY pulling down now, breaking down below the VWAP. So the bullishness in the SPY has gotten pretty weak. SPY right down below the VWAP, closed below the VWAP. Now it's bouncing back up above the VWAP again. Very choppy here. Not a this trading conditions now have gotten very, very poor. Market coming in, trying to get back up over the VWAP, couldn't do it. Getting a little bit of weakness now. Market internals actually not rolling over very much. The SPY's coming down much harder. The market internals just starting to drift down just a bit. MDM and DY pulling back a little bit now. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. Let's see. just kind of watching the market again. It's gotten very, very choppy here. Very, very choppy. Market just chopping here. We had a nice bull run this morning. Now we're just chopping around. So again, I did MNDY Mandy, Mundy Corporation, and took some profits in the PGY. Adobe not doing much. It moved up nicely this morning. Now it's pulling back on Adobe. Back to 366, 366.20. So Neil, you're nervous about the VSAT and GNRC trades? I'm nervous about the VSAT trade too. Question is, what do I do here? Do I take it off and just take the full loss on the thing at this point? I mean, it's not the full loss, but most of the loss. It's still trading in the money, but barely. Or do I wait to see if this is what's going on here? Is this an overreaction or something? I don't know. So I'm not going to take it off because it's just not. To me, it's just not. First of all, it's too early for the October, and secondly, I've got to wait for tomorrow's to see if we get any kind of a bounce here. Because any kind of a bounce back up $1 or so is gonna push the option prices up pretty quickly. So I'm gonna wait on it. GNRC, yeah, I'm not. GNRC still looks like a decent long one to me. It's still below the 8 and the 15, but the 50's moving up and it's close to that, and it's just still bullish, still a bullish setup. So. Joe, send out $10 per contract on Intel. Oh, you took profits on Intel? Okay. A big gap up in Intel today. Still moving up too, by the way. Frank, what's my thoughts on Reddit? Quite relative strength during the drop. Maybe a CDS since it's quite elevated. Let's see, Reddit. Yeah, pretty nice move up here this morning. It is a little elevated. But let's see what it is. Yeah, it's not overly elevated. Yeah, that's a pretty good setup on Reddit. I mean, you want to take a debit spread for this week, you can. I'm going to wait to see what the market does here. The market's just not giving me any warm fuzzies after this gap up here this morning. You know, a lot of times we put in new all-time highs, then we get some profit taking, and that's looks to me like what's happening now. I don't know if it'll continue or not, but I'm really not jumping into anything else at the moment. I did take MNDY out to October. And I'm watching UNH as a potential one. SMR was really strong this morning. Moved up really, really strong. Whoops, SMR. And nice move up, and now it's pulling back down a little bit. But these nuclears are doing pretty nicely right now. It's OKLO, also another one. Looking really good. Momentum's a little weak, but the stock price is looking pretty nice. It's getting a little extended too, by the way. Not 2 ATRs yet, but quite extended. And NNE is the other one. These nuclears are pretty strong right now. SMI did hit resistance right at the 50-day moving average. NNE hit resistance at 38.19, and OKLO is through resistance here. That's all-time high and OK low. Choppy here, very, very choppy. But a little after 12 o'clock right now. AQA. Hey Vikram, how are you today? QA, when doing strangles, do I typically leg out or I do close both at once? Usually I close both at once. You know, usually the thing is with a strangle, once you're in the money on the one side to put to the calls, and you can try to leg out, but typically if you're far away from the strike that's not working, so you take profits in the one that is working, and then you're expecting the stock to reverse and go the other way, but it's going to take a while just to get to that strike price. So no, I typically take the straddles and strangles off as one. Harry, MSTU, coming out of long compression, yes, it certainly is. It's been compressing just like the market's been compressing. But MSTU is better than the market today. Again, this is a 2x leveraged ETF on MSTR. Moved up nicely. Now it's just compressing right here. And see if it breaks out here. Big volume this morning. Volume dropping off. See if we get a reversal, and have it start to move back up again. MSTR is on the daily chart. It's very close to that 200-day right now. Very close. SPY, this is just all chop here now. Terrible price action. Marab has a big doji sandwich on the daily, Ari says. Yeah, it's already completed. It's a little hard to chase this at this point. There is a doji sandwich right there. We opened this morning, came down support, ripped right through it. Yeah, I can't chase it up here. It isn't overly extended, by the way. That's less than 2 ATRs, but still too extended for me. The doji sandwich is pretty much is putting the last piece of bread on top of it now. Hey, Grant. Spreads look a little wide, but you're considering time spreads on FDX and LEN. FDX and LEN time spreads. Okay, I haven't looked at those yet. Let me take a look. Joe, Intel, January 26th expiration was long-term calls. in at 120 out at 10.10. We held these for 6 weeks. Nice job, Joe. Very nice. Got a little news boost this morning, and that's all it took. It's been pretty languishing here for the last couple of weeks, so. That news, it can cut both ways. So with FedEx and linear, let me take a look at the time spreads in those. Harry points out MU making new highs practically every day. Yeah, it's been just ripping up Micron. It ran across a resistance level for a few days, and then today it's broken out of it right here. Hit here, just kind of slid sideways, waiting for the 8 to catch up, and today it gapped up and away. Still pretty now is it pretty extended from that 8. Pretty much got close to it here, but it's extended again today. So I mean I can't chase it up there, but it's a beautiful move. And that linear, if you're going to do a linear time spread, I got a couple of different ones in here. They got one that's got $5 spreads in the options. They've got some others that got a $1 spread. So if you're looking at this week's 130, let's take a look at 133s. All right, IV of 134. And 62. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good difference. So linear is a decent one. I'd use a 133 puts, 133 calls, or you can use a 134. Either one, 133s, 134s. It's going to be very, very similar. Talking about linear, Ari, linear LEN for a potential time spread. Somebody asked about a time spread in linear, which has earnings. Linear has earnings on the 18th. Yeah, today after the close. So that's one to look at. Linear definitely seems to qualify. And the other one is FedEx, which beats 20% of the time, which is a little high. I'm going to take a look at this linear time spread. I think this was a decent one. On the $34, 134 calls on the time spread on linear, it's $85 to take it, $85. Quite a bit actually, but the IV is pretty good. Look, 12.19 right here. Spreads are a little wide in linear of 30 cents. I think it's going to take 88 to 90 to get filled on it. Yeah, I'm not even getting filled at 90 cents on that thing, so that I'm going to see what it does. I'm not going to jump right into it. $12.20 right here. SPY back up above the VWAP again. This really hasn't gone anywhere here in the last 2 hours. It's 10.50 right here. Hour and a half. Just chopping sideways. PGY continuing to move up. MNDY just kind of moving sideways now. VSAT trying to put in a bottom. Pitiful. Okay, some more questions here. Regarding MNDY, do I think it will be a swing trade or just a day trade? Well, I'm probably going to swing trade it. It depends on how much of a move it makes today, Ram Kumar. If it's trading at 197 right now, I'm sorry, it's trading at 202 right now, 202.37. If it gets up to close to the 208, 209 area, I probably will take it off. I don't know if it'll do that. I've got no fill on linear yet. I was trying to get filled at 85 cents. I moved it up to 90. It still won't fill me, so I'm not gonna jump into these things. Let me see what kind of premium option. There's quite a few contracts on it. Might be able to do the 133s better. Yeah, 133s are 90 cents, so not much difference between the 133s and the 134s. Thought I might be able to get in a little bit cheaper on the 133s, but you can't. So linear fill, the time spread on linear filled at 95 cents. 95 cents on linear. So that's a decent trade. I'm going to post it here for anybody who's interested in this time spread. We get quite a few positions here. We've got the VSAT and GNRC against us right now. So you want to be very cautious here to get overextended. But I'm going to put this on here. And I think I'll probably alert on this one, because we don't have we do have the alerts on GNRC and VSAT. All right, so this is a time spread. Linear. Sell the 919. This is for tomorrow. Let's put that up. September 19th. 134 calls. And buy the September 19th. I'm sorry, September 26th. 134 calls. For 95 cents. Okay, that's the time spread on our linear. All right, so I get that time spread on linear. And thank you very much for the information on that one. That was Grant gave me that. Thank you very much, Grant. Appreciate it. $134 calls by the September. 134 calls. Yep. 134 calls. Correct. Selling this week's, buying next week's. That's how we set up a time spread. I'm going to try to capture the volatility crush after the earnings come out. Earnings coming out after the close today. Linear does not show September 19th, 34 calls. That's interesting. That's what I got. Yeah, it's got, look at this, two expiration dates on Linear for the September 19th. There's one that goes up by $1 a strike, and then there's another group that only goes up by $5 a strike on Linear. But the ones for the 19th that I'm looking at have dollar strikes on them. 130, the other September 19th ones does not. When I was able to get that chain and get filled on it. There's the SPY starting to bounce up again. SPY really not building up much momentum here. Again, we're just trading in this tight range for a good long time here. Well, after 12:30, gonna stop and get lunch here in just a couple minutes. Is this a calendar spread on Linear? Yes, that's a calendar spread on Linear. On Thinkorswim, yeah. You should be selling this week's 134 call and buying next week's 134 call. I call it a time spread. It's actually a calendar spread. But I call it a time spread because it's done specifically for this week, next week. Calendar spreads can have much wider distances than that on the expiration dates. Again, I have a video on those time spreads and how we use them. SPY moving up here now, coming off the VWAP and the 15. It'll move again. Maybe it'll get back up to the high of the day. Who knows? But it is breaking out into a more of a trend here. All right, so do I feel the lens spread is a high probability trade due to earnings? Well, that's what time spreads are for. Time spreads are for earnings. We want to see the stock basically trade inside the range that they expected, and the specs on linear, they beat. When I say beat, I don't mean beat earnings. The move of the stock price exceeds what the market makers are expecting only 6% of the time. All right, 6% of the time. So most of the time it's going to trade within the range they expected. They have an average move about 3.6%. They're expecting about a 7% move this today, which means the premiums are going to be pretty high. And the difference between this week's and next week's implied volatility were, let me see, it was pretty high. And this week's implied volatility 133, and next week's implied volatility 61. So there's a difference between 133 and 61. That's about 71 points, which is more than half of next week's ATR, of this week's ATR. So when you get that big a difference, you like to get around 40%. It's quite a bit more than that. All right, so that's the basis on that. So yeah, they're high probability trades. I mean, they work 85% of the time or more. It's the only way I take these. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but it means that they do work fairly consistently. If you get a move outside of the range, then it's going to hurt you. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, tough to get trade on it. E-Trade MS filled at 93, but trading is still open. Really? Yeah, I had to pay 95 for it. Terry filled at 95. Sunil, fingers crossed. Listen, if you have to go on a trade with your fingers crossed, don't take it. And, and we take a lot of these, especially during earnings season, which pretty much run its course. But this is a decent looking one, and we have a pretty good track record on them. Listen, this is probability trades. Not everything's going to work, but this is this type of structure with the criteria that I just went over. It typically works at least 85% of the time. Doesn't mean it's going to work every time. It doesn't work every time. You're going to get 15 losses out of every 100 trades, roughly. But they can produce decent wins. They can produce 20, 25, 30, 35% wins, sometimes more than that. So it just depends on what the stock does. But the volatility is such that it's a good probability trade, because the implied volatility between this week and next week is very, very high. So when the earnings come out, the premiums are going to come out of those calls pretty fast. Doug got it for 95 cents. Good job. Neil, you're new. Forgive you for being a baby. It's not being a baby, but again, when you go into a trade like this, and you've never used it before, you don't have to you could put a paper trade on, or you could take one contract. I mean, your maximum loss on this is what we paid for it. $95 a contract. That's the most you can lose on each contract is $95. All of these trades that we put on are what's called defined risk. You can't lose more than you put into them. That's not the same thing as with futures. Your futures, you can have it go against you. It's heavily margined. You can get margin calls, all those kind of things. With the trades we take, they're all defined risk. You can't lose more than you put in. You can lose all you put in, but you can't lose more than that. So I'm still trying to grind up a little bit here. I'm going to get some lunch. It's about 12:40. We'll come back from lunch. We'll put a sell order on this linear in case it gets a move this afternoon. Don't know if it will or not, but unlikely, but we'll see. You had to wait a bit on linear, on trade here. Okay, get filled though. Yeah, get filled at 95. It's trading at $1 right now, but you probably wouldn't get filled at $1 on this thing. If the volatility increases more this afternoon, now it's at $1.05. So typically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an order in to at least work for today, for 20% gain. All right, so that's about 20% gain is about 20 cents. So I'm going to put this in for $1.15, which would give me a 20% gain. And if I can close it out for $1.15, I'll take it. I'll take 20% on it before the earnings even come out, because I take the risk off the table. So I'm going to put it in for $1.15. Yep, that'd be $20 a contract, just in case. You put that 115 sell order in, make sure it's good till canceled, so it'll be active in the morning. We may change it in the morning, I don't know. I just want to see where it goes today. But I just want to have the one out there working. So we have a sell order for $1.15. It's still moving up here. So again, I'm going to get ready to get some lunch. Let me go to the YouTube feed here. I'm going to have to get off, close it down. So let me take a look here. Vikram, you understand the utility of EMA 8 and 15 and D1, but do they have any utility on M5? They do. I use them on the M5 charts as well. Over here, I've got the 15 and the VWAP. On my TC2000 charts, I've got the 15, the 8, and the VWAP. They do have validity on the and you can actually use the 8 on the 5-minute chart if you want to use that as a support resistance level as well. Kane, how do I use ATR to consider whether stock is worth trading? The only thing I use ATR for is for well, a couple things. I use it for straddles and strangles to get in for a strike price for a what I pay for the straddle or strangle needs to be well below the ATR. But if the stock is extended over the 8, so what I do is take a look at where the stock price is relative to the ATR, okay, relative to the 8. In other words, you take a look at the stock price, see how far that stock price is away from the average true range of the stock. If the stock is 2 ATRs, in other words, it's above or below the 8 exponential moving average by 2 ATRs or more, 2 average true ranges or more, it's too extended for me. I'm not going to trade it because the stock is likely to come back to the ATR or go sideways until it's likely to come back to the 8. In other words, if it gets extended from the 8 by 2 ATRs, it's likely to either come back to the 8 or it's going to wait for the 8 to catch up with it. In either case, you're getting in, you're chasing when it's that high. All right, thank everybody on YouTube. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and shut down so I can get something to eat. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll be back tomorrow again at 11:30 to do it again. Thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon.